Hello and welcome to LUKE-N-SHAE'S place. We are so happy that you're joining us this evening. I hope everybody's been having a great week so far. We thank you so much for tuning in this evening for our little content that we're posting for you guys. And before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe. When you like, it puts us in the algorithm so that other viewers can find our content. Please share with your family and friends and just to get our content out there. We want to grow our channel, and subscribe, because when you subscribe, it's absolutely free and you get notifications for when we're posting content and when we're going live. And don't forget to click those notifications so that you can see our content when we're scheduling it. How you doing, Luke?
I'm blessed tonight. How you doing today, Jay?
Oh, I'm doing good.
That's
Long day
good.
at work, but I'm here. Long day, but I'm here.
Okay, you got the question. You want to read the question, or you want me to read, or the discussion point?
Okay, so for tonight's discussion, all right, I can read it. All right, so let me see here. We are going to be discussing, and let me pull that up here. Okay, so for tonight, we have a little discussion. So, two people are dating, and the woman mentions that she is saving sex for her husband, and the guy is cool with that. And then he mentions that he should always go Dutch for dates, because they should always go Dutch for dates because he is saving money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool that he's not taking her on dates just because she doesn't want to have sex. He mentions that's not the case at all, but clarifies that it's just like sex. Finances should be reserved for marriage. Wow, that's interesting. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it again because it's tiny on my end. But two people are dating, and the woman mentions that she's saving sex for her husband, and the guy's cool with that. And then he mentions that they should always go Dutch on dates because he's saving his money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool that he's not taking her on dates just because she doesn't want to have sex. He mentions that it's not the case at all, but clarifies that just like sex, finances should be reserved for marriage. So that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it is. That's an
So
interesting take, though.
yeah, so she's saying she's saving herself for marriage, and he's saying he's saving his money for marriage. Wow, that's something. Huh. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that's fair? I mean, she wants to save herself for marriage, which that's great. But he's saying when we go on dates, I guess you pay for you and I'll pay for me, because he wants to save his money for when he walks down the aisle. That's kind of
Well, that's one of them new modern age things, though. I can understand it, though. It makes complete sense, I guess, from that aspect. Yeah, but it makes it more like it's a pay for play type thing, and that don't
yeah.
sound good.
No. And it seems like when she said that she's saving herself for marriage, she doesn't want to have any sex until marriage. And then it seems like that was his, it's almost like a punishment. Okay, well, if I can't have sex with you, then I'm not going to pay for any of our dates. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds like a tit for tat. I don't even know if I'd go on any more dates, because I feel like he's not respecting her, that she wants to save herself for marriage as far as
Well,
intimacy.
you can't go as far as that. It's not that he's not respecting. I understand the point. It sounds like a pay for play, but at the same time, I understand both sides of the coin, because okay, you're paying for dates, with a woman. Let's say they don't get together. Let's say she's just going out for the clear sake of eating. See, so that's his money being wasted. He's not stating just because of the sex, but he's also saying, okay, well, I'm putting out something that's not guaranteed neither. It's not guaranteed that you and I will ever become intimate, but it's not guaranteed you and I will ever become married. So with those two things being put out there, you have to understand. I understand the premise of this whole thing. Does it make sense? It makes complete sense. But is it wrong? It could be considered wrong. I can see where somebody might see it as being wrong.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
No,
To me,
it makes
listen,
sense.
if this is how dating is going today, I thank goodness I don't have to. I wouldn't want to, because everything is not what it used to be. It took a few bad apples to ruin it for everybody. And I'm not saying that there aren't women. I've heard of horror stories that there are women out here that have guys' number in their phone as a meal. Okay, Tuesday, Jared. Wednesday, Mike. That's their meal plan. I don't know. So now it's almost like people are looking at that like that's what women are doing. But this woman seems like she's looking for a husband. She's saying she's saving herself. She doesn't want to have any intimacy until she's married. And then I just feel like he's saying, well, we can go Dutch at restaurants or whatever. You pay for your stuff, I pay for mine. By all means, if she's being sincere, then she should show him, hey, fine, I'll pay for mine. But that doesn't sound like courting to me. That doesn't sound like, because a woman, when you go on dates, yeah, you want to get spoiled. And I'm not saying that I've never tried to spoil on when you get to like the third date. Now it's like we're seeing each other. Okay, so now, okay, let me take you out. But for the first couple times, and it doesn't even have to be dinner. Everybody's going to dinner. Go somewhere where you can talk. Somewhere, get a tea or coffee. If you don't drink coffee, go to like the Starbucks and sit in there and chat to each other so you can actually have a conversation. Going out to eat, I don't know why that's like the main thing that I hear people, that's their date preference.
Well,
go to Dave and Buster's, play some games.
Why you didn't understand it when the man was saying let's go Dutch? So if he's saying let's go Dutch, why is it a problem for her to go Dutch in that same situation? Being that, okay, she set the tone for whether or not they're going to be intimate. So why can't he set the tone for what he wants? See, because that's all it was. It's not really a tit for tat. It's not saying he wants the sex. It's actually saying, okay, you're putting things off again, so that I don't come out wasting my time or my money. You see what I'm saying? It's all under the premise that I was going to get with you, but there's no guarantee you're going to get with me. So at this point in time, why would I spend money on you when you've already set the boundaries of what can happen between you and I? And I don't think he was saying he needed the sex for the money. I'm just saying it's we both taking chances.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The issue I have with that is here's a woman, and bless her heart, she's saving herself for marriage. It doesn't say, I don't know if she's a virgin or not, but me not being a male, but if I was, I would respect her more because, okay, she's not just going to be a one-hit wonder. It's not like the first date and because she's showing her value by saying, hey, I want to get married and then I'll be intimate. If he's really into her, okay, that could be you. That could be you. You could be her husband, and then all that comes with the whole relationship. And I feel like nobody's respecting that now, just from hearing him say that.
Let me ask you a question. If the shoe was on the other foot and you had to pay out the money on the date on something you can't assure is ever going to happen, you don't know if it's going to happen or not, okay? But you're going to go out on a date and you're going to spend. And what women are asking for today, they're saying spend $200 to $300, $500 even on the first date. Man, please stop. But that's what's happening. So ask yourself, could you go out on a date today, spend $200 to $300 on someone that you're not sure you're gonna even get there with?
Firstly, I wouldn't be spending $200 to $300 if the tables were turned. If that's what a
But
woman's
see,
expecting,
you can't,
if
but
that's
you
what,
can't set,
hold on,
ma'am, you can't set, no, you got to hold on, because you can't set the tone of what's actually going on, because you're saying you wouldn't do it. This is what's happening. So you gotta put yourself in that man's shoes that's spending $200 to $300 on a date,
and I was
and say,
trying to do.
could I continue to do this and know that there's no guarantee that we're going to get married or have sex, or at this point.
Okay, and
That's what you got to come to grips with.
as I was saying, if the tables were turned, I wouldn't be spending $200 to $300 on a date with no chick. I wouldn't be doing that. So if I ran into a woman like that, I wouldn't be pursuing anything with her. Secondly, so the men that are doing that, shame on them. I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for the men that are putting out $200 to $300. That's on you.
You know what?
Nobody's
you just stated by the question. That's not the answer. See, the point here is we didn't ask you what you would do. We're telling you what men do. So this is why that man felt that way. This is why he gave a response. Because men are spending the largest amount of money going on date with women. Okay? That's what's actually happening. So that's why he set that bar right there. See, you can't change the bar because you feel like it's you. This is what's happening. If you were spending $200 to $300 on the first date, when you have the same standards, see, you can't give us the same answer.
Yeah, you asked me what I would do if the tables were turned, and I was answering that. I was saying if the tables were turned, I would.
No, ma'am, I wasn't asking you. Ma'am, I wasn't asking you the question. What the question was, if you were the man and you're spending $200 to $300, you got to put yourself in the man's shoes to understand what the man is saying. You can't put yourself in your shoes and understand what the man is saying. And women are demanding $200 to $300 on a first date, and you're paying for this date, okay? And there's no guarantee you're going to get married. There's no guarantee you're going to even be intimate ever. That's what he's saying. That's the premise of the whole thing. It's not in exchange for sex. It's saying, look, I'm going to set the tone right here. You're not getting nothing, but you're going to pay for the date. And if it was fine, she wouldn't have had a problem with going Dutch. You see what I'm saying? Because then she would understand, well, that's the exchange right there. Well, I can say this. I can set this tone. He has to set his own tone. Because he might spend $200 on that date.
Yeah, I don't know why people are spending so much on dates, but like I preferenced before, if she's serious about this guy, then she should show him, hey, okay, that's fine. If I have to pay for my meal, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, for me personally, if I was in a man's shoes, I don't know. That's a whole nother topic. Why people are spending so much? Go get a tea, get coffee. Why are you spending $200 to $300 on a date? That's crazy. I wouldn't even ask somebody to do that. Like, what are they ordering on the menu? For one, if you're ordering a week's worth of food, that's crazy. But in her situation, if she really likes the guy, if that's something, she wants to, pursue, but I can see where she would take it as, okay, I'm waiting for marriage, but now you're saying that you're not going to pay for a date. I don't know too many people that are gonna keep seeing this guy, because what happened that's why I said everything is out the door. Dating is not even dating anymore. It's like, okay, 50-50, all this 50-50 stuff. I remember a time when you go on a date, nobody was out here trying to break somebody's pocket on the first date. You could walk around the zoo. Sometimes that's even free. You go to a park and walk and talk. Why are we spending bags on dates these days? I think that's ridiculous. So if I was her, I wouldn't be going on expensive dates with him. Let's go somewhere we could talk and actually converse. We don't have to spend all this money. But no, I just feel like he said it and he's saving his money for marriage. Okay, that's great. You have your thing. But I
detect a little bit facetious in that whole statement, but I understand the premise of the statement. The premise of the statement is she set the tone. You're not getting nothing out of this, okay? And I'm not having this until I get married. That's the standard. She said it. Okay, so if that's my standard as a woman, I wouldn't have a problem going Dutch. See? But if she had a problem going Dutch, she got upset with his standard. He was only being, I would say that's a facetious statement because he was saying, look, okay, I'm spending $200 to $300 on a date, and you already establishing. I mean, you could be using me. See, I could come every Friday night and take you out on a date and spending up to $200 to $300 on a date, and there's no guarantee you're gonna marry me or we'll ever be intimate. So that's the reality of it. And in order to truly understand it, you have to put yourself in the man's shoes. I'm not saying I would do it. It doesn't give me the thing to do it, but I understand where he's trying to get across because she's setting a tone, and by setting that tone, yeah, it's going to come up wrong with you. That's what I'm saying. But if I understood that I set that tone, well, you know what? I wouldn't have a problem going Dutch because, see, I understand where he's coming from. See, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, and I get that, I get that whole thing, but again, it just makes dating horrible. I wouldn't even want to nowadays because a few people out here are using guys for food throughout the week. Now nobody wants to have the traditional dating. It sucks, like
no, ma'am,
hold on, we have somebody in the chat.
That's not new, but
no, to me it's new. I'm old school, so I'm used to a date that
new.
Doesn't have to be expensive or anything. Today, everybody.
Okay, that's not new. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. That's what I'm saying. You should go to college and go out on dates with guys they weren't interested in because the guy would take them out to go eat. As according to where you were. If you ever been to college, you would understand it. It's always been happening. But the point here is that in that case, he's interested in the woman. He's taking the woman out. But the woman set the tone. She was like, well, this is not going to happen. So if that's the case, I understand where he's coming from. Okay? Because, yeah, you don't want to be played in this neither. So that's why I said, put yourself in a man's shoes. You're going out spending $200 to $300 on a woman that you don't know is going to be yours. That's entirely different. If I'm a woman, yeah, I could go out and if you spend $200 or $300 and say, well, I'm not going to do with you, that I can understand that too. But at the same time, it doesn't, like I say, you get it off to the wrong foot when you do those type of things because there is a demand for a certain thing. And if I don't know, I got to read the thing, but if she had a kickback to it, meaning that she didn't want to go Dutch, see, that's why he wanted to go Dutch.
Yeah.
Because that's explaining why he wanted to go Dutch. And yeah, you can use that. Okay, a real man would take me out and buy me out, do these type of things. But then, like I said, the real man is going to get beat in that sense if this is the case here. And like I said, you don't know where it's going. And yeah, she could stop dating him. I can see that. Or she could stop going out with him. She got that option as well. But at the same time, we got to understand what's being said. And that's what it is. I wouldn't, like I said, if I'm going out with a woman, I'm going to go out with the woman I want to go out with. So that would probably be different. But like I said, the standard part, I don't know. And if she was a virgin, then I would understand her thing of waiting. But I don't understand waiting for it in that sense. And, just to be.
That's why I said it's not saying if she's a virgin. But I just want to read the chat real quick. It looks like we have TG that commented and said modern women have made relationships transactional, so the guy is right to play it like that. Otherwise, he's playing the fool. I can agree with that. I mean, if this is what's going on, this is what's going on. But in the same breath, for her, it's when I think about that from her standpoint, she's telling a guy, "Hey, I'm saving myself for marriage," and then for somebody to have that conversation back, I would take it as, okay, this guy just wanted some. I would move on if I was her because it sounds like he just wanted to hit it. It doesn't sound like he
now what I want you to do, what I want you to do, swing it the other way. Then it sounds like she just wanted to eat, right? See? That door swings both ways.
There's nothing telling us.
But that door still swings both ways because see, he's like you got the guy that commented. What he said is true from that standpoint, because this is what it's turned into. Okay, if I'm a woman and I know I got this tone set, then I won't have a problem going Dutch with you. See? Because see, I want you to have pre notions of
Yeah,
getting this, and that way we both be, like I say, here to get to know each other. See, but
true.
I don't want to have to get to know you at my expense, is what he's saying. I
Yeah.
don't want to get to know you on my expense because see, you're saying already what you're not going to do. So let's have since you done set this tone and this modern age dating, yeah, he's setting his tone. That's
So
all.
is
He's
that,
kicking back.
let me ask you something. Is that bad that she's saying that she wants to wait for marriage?
No,
Because
it's
you're
not
saying
bad.
she's setting a tone.
Ain't
Is
nothing
that
wrong
bad
with
that
that.
she wants to wait to have sex before marriage? Because listen, I said that in the beginning. If she's being sincere, okay, that's what you require. You don't want to spend finances, that you want to save that for your wife. Yeah, I would definitely pay for my own food or whatever the case might be. But again, dates, like I said, if I had to do that, to me, I'd be looking at this guy like he's cheap for one. I'm not asking somebody to pay $200 and $300 on a date for me. Let's go to Dave and Buster's and shoot some basketball. Let's
Ma'am,
go
you're
do
talking,
something fun.
see,
Let's go walk the
again,
park. I don't
ma'am,
need all
see,
that.
that what women tend to do in those situations is equate themselves. We're not dating just you. So you gotta understand this is not the world doesn't revolve around you. Society today, women are doing this. And so this is why you're getting these type of responses. Back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, you wouldn't have got this response because all dating was kind of on the legit side. But today, nobody wants to get played the fool. And you going out here spending $200 to $300, and the woman already saying what she ain't gonna do. And I don't think he was saying it in the effort to say, well, look, well, I ain't gonna pay you. You ain't gonna have, you're not being intimate with me, then I ain't gonna spend my money. No, he's saying I'm gonna come out on the short end of the stick because see, we could go to any restaurant, we can go to Papados here in Atlanta. You're gonna spend $200 to $300 on a date. So again, I'm out of $200 and ain't nothing guaranteed here.
So let me ask you something because listen, it's been a while since I actually dated, but I mean, date nights is one thing, but actually date like first dates today. Okay. First date. So when I think of a first date, usually the man usually doesn't he plan the date? Doesn't he usually plan where he's
He
taking her?
did plan the date. That he planning the date. That's
No,
not
I'm
the issue.
asking you, and
But go
not
ahead.
just this story, but do men typically plan the date that they're taking the women on? I'm just asking. Isn't that
Yeah,
usually
they
how that
do.
goes?
Yeah, that's how it
So
goes.
then why? So this is my thing. Why, if men are in charge of planning the date, why the heck are you taking women to places where you got to spend $200 to $300? If you're planning the date, you can take me to the
Because
park. You
ma'am,
can let's walk around the park. You're planning these
Shay,
extravagant
Shay,
dates, and then
Shay,
you guys
Shay,
are
Shay,
complaining that you're getting used.
you're playing slow to the situation, ma'am. You can't
No.
play slow to the situation. That's not how things work today. Ain't
Who plans
but
the
see,
date,
we
Luke?
just gotta, that's why, like I said, I'll show you. We'll go look at videos of people saying that you should spend at least $500 on the first date.
Who
That's the
plans the
reality
date?
today. That's
That's
not
why
the
I
point
asked that.
because
I'm
see,
not
the
playing
point
well.
is if you don't do this, then they calling you cheap. You ain't got no money. You
So then
broke.
leave
So
her
these are
alone
titles they give
then.
you.
If she's calling him cheap, then he needs to walk away from her. If that
She
woman
didn't
is
call him
calling him cheap,
anything. He set his tone. See, that's why I say you can't argue the point. This is what's going on in today's time. And so that's what we have to measure it by. We can't measure it by what he wants or he's planning the date. Yeah, he's planning the date, but at the same time, he also wants to show you that he's not that type of person. But when you go out on a date and you're spending that much money, he's saying you shouldn't set the tone for nothing. Let stuff happen as it go or however it
yeah.
works. But you shouldn't
Well,
be
see,
setting no tone saying
yeah.
what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. When you're spending this type, when you're demanding that I spend this type of money on a date, you shouldn't set no tones. And
So
I
you're saying
understand what her premise is that she
you're
don't
saying
want you.
so you're saying that if he's dropping a bag on her, if he's spending $200 to $300 on a date,
I
then
don't say that's dropping the
she should
bag.
already be willing to give up the tail feather. That she should already be willing to have sex.
That is not what was said. The understanding is I would be wasting money If I just keep spending money, going out on dates, spending $200, and she never ever get with me, what happens then? Do I get my money back?
I'm
No, no,
stuck
no.
at,
Answer the question. Would I get my money back?
whoa, okay. So I would assume not. Who pays money back from a
You
date?
know, and that's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah,
Because
and
see,
I can understand that.
in the end, he won't get anything back, and she could marry West Huckleberry over there at any point in time, and he won't get anything back. There's no guarantee. He's not asking for. I don't look at it as it's a facetious statement because she set the tone by saying she wanted to wait for marriage. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna wait to spend my money toward marriage. I say the same thing where we go with what child support. Okay, the women used to say, "My body, see, my money." See, this is how that works. But see, that's all that's being said. Because you're asking for my money, but at the same time, it's your body when it comes time to decide what you want to do with your body. This is the same
Yeah.
thing. That's her body. That's his money. It's the same
Well,
thing.
I agree. I agree. And like, hey, he has a right to say, and he's saying it from the gate. Like, look, if we go on
Yeah.
dates, we're gonna have to pay. You pay for yours, I pay for mine. And if that's something that she can't agree with, if that's something that he doesn't, apparently he's accepting that she's not going to be having any sex. So I think if she wants to pursue that, that's a choice. But I do want to say to the women out here, because this is crazy, to the women out here expecting these men to pay 300 to 400 to 500. What are you actually eating for one? For two, like that's crazy. That's
Well,
crazy
you go
to
out
go on
on
these dates.
you
And
go out
and
on a
and then
date.
my thing is, if he is planning the date, what are you ordering on these menus? And
But
maybe
that's
people
the
should
thing.
stop. Maybe
That's the
people should
thing.
stop
When you go
taking
out,
people out to eat.
when somebody else is paying for a date, you're more inclined to order stuff that you wouldn't order necessarily for
I know.
yourself if you were paying for the date.
Yeah, I never
That's what
do
we're
that.
saying. So,
That's
in
crazy.
the in the question that two people are dating, and the woman mentions that she is saving intimacy for her husband, and the guy is cool with that. See, he ain't having a problem with it. And then he mentioned that they should go Dutch for the dates because he is saving money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool. See, she got a problem with it. That's that he's not taking her on dates just because she doesn't want to be intimate with him. He mentioned that's not the case at all, but clarified that just like intimacy, finances should be reserved for marriage. See, he's giving you the same. He ain't saying when she said she could go without it, he was fine. But when he said he wasn't paying for the date, she wasn't.
Yeah.
See, that's what happened here. Because see,
Yeah,
again,
yeah. So with
men are
that whole
judged.
thing,
Men are judged by how much money they spend on dates. Men are judged for their finances. See, the whole stigma with calling a brother broke because he won't spend $200 or $300 on a first date or any date. See, that is the way society is geared. That's what they're saying. Now, if we could take you to the park, our first date used to be we could walk around the park and just get to know each other. We
I
could go to
love that.
Starbucks and have a coffee.
What the,
That we could
I
just to get to know each other. But
yeah.
today, they're not. The women are not asking for that. Women are not accepting that. They're calling you broke if you can't go out and take them to an expensive restaurant. Remember, we had a whole list of restaurants. The Cheesecake Factory wasn't good enough. We had a whole bunch of restaurants that they were saying they wouldn't even go to. That remember, you forgot that list. But this is the reality of what happens when you do this. Because every time you're gonna, with every action, there's going to be a reaction. The action
Yeah.
was we needed to get this. We don't want to go to. We don't want to go here. We don't want to go there. We don't want to. We don't take you to the Olive Garden. We don't want you to take us. We want you to take us to a 5-star restaurant on a first date to show us what type of man you are. See, but at the same time, you're gonna set a boundary. Well, look, I'm not having intimacy with you until I get married. Well, see, there's no guarantee I'm gonna marry you, so I will be wasting my money, which I wouldn't get back from that man perspective. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying look at the logic behind it. That's the logic. But I understand that.
It just sounds like a lot of. It just sounds like people are dating just to date. Like it doesn't sound like a lot of people are out here dating for an end goal of marriage. Anytime I dated, my goal was for that. That was okay. Hopefully he'd wife me up. It sounds like people just have different dates throughout the week, and it sucks. It's horrible. If that's what people are doing, oh, you got to spend that much money. That's, like I said, what I would, in that situation, what should be done then, if he's setting his bar of what he's expecting, if he wants to save money for his wife, she's saving herself, her, intimacy for her husband. So yeah, if that's something, if she's being, that's, I guess that's how you would know if somebody's being sincere. For men, if that's what men need to do now to see if the woman is actually into him and wanting to get to know him, or is she there just for him to pay $200 to $300 on dates? No. So yeah, if we're gonna try to make it fair, if that's how people are dating today, that's how you can wean out the good and the bad. Because if she stays around, okay, there you go. She's going to pay her own way to whatever date. And for men, just like I said to women, what are you asking these men to pay all this money for dates? Go somewhere and walk around the park. Parks are free. Go get, ice cream cone or something. Like, come on, this is crazy. And secondly, for men,
Okay,
you guys usually are the ones that end the date. Stop taking these women to these expensive places. If this is how dating, because what happens is it messes it up for the women who aren't out here trying to use people.
Shay, you can't. Shay, you're going over the board, but sister, to chill out. That's not the case, because see, men are judged by this. So you see, since you don't understand that, I wouldn't really comment on it, because see, this is how men are judged today. And so this is where all of it comes from.
Judging, I do understand. Luke, what I'm saying is a good woman.
Hold on, let me comment. Let me read the comment. I think. Go ahead.
A good woman is not. That's how you can wean out. You're telling me I don't understand.
You can't parameter. See, there is no measuring stick for a good woman today. See, that's the whole thing. Nobody, that's what he's saying. I don't know if she's a good woman, and I'm spending all this money on her. I don't know. So at this point in time, you don't know what you got. Until you got what you got.
You're not listening. What I said, Luke, was you can find out if she's being sincere, if she's a good woman. If you tell her, hey, so I was thinking Friday we go walk in the park, or we go to the museum or something. If she starts sucking her teeth and be like, oh, I thought we would do something else, she's not it. That's not it. You can find out just by, if the man's planning the date, okay, throw it out at her. Say, hey, I was thinking about taking you here. If she's starting to have rebuttals, there you go.
That's not how men operate. See, there's two things. That's why I said it's a tough thing to comment on, because see, you're trying to give advice to a society that this is the way the society is ran. If a brother come out here, like I said, you had a woman setting a list of restaurants, and I'll go get it up and show it to you, had a list of restaurants they didn't want to go to. You can't speak for every woman, and you can't speak for every man. This is the reality of what they're facing on an everyday basis. So what you have to do is respond to what's actually going on, not try to fix it. You got to respond to what's going on, because see, that's what this is about, responding to what's going on. It ain't about trying to fix it. This is what's actually happening. In a perfect world, yeah, we could do that. But this is not a perfect world. So we got to deal with what's actually going on. See, this is why that was said.
So the thing
we got a chat. It says, I think what guys are not mentioning is there is a huge difference in expectations of a 304 and the expectation of a woman. See, this is the reality of what we're living in today. See, and this was all custom and made by what women have started setting with their standards. There used to be a time, I like you, you like me, and I'm really into you. So yeah, I don't have a problem taking you out on a date and paying. I wouldn't have that. But today, the time is different, because now women are telling you, well, you know what, I went out on the last date and he paid $300 or $400 on my date, and they like to brag about it. We live in a social media age. We're taking pictures of what I'm eating. We're taking pictures of the wine. We're taking the pictures of all of this stuff. You act like we're not living here today, and that's the reality of today. So we got to deal with this question by the standards of today, not what I want to happen or not what I expect to happen. This is what's actually happening. So we got to deal with it today. I understand the premise. Yeah, it would be crazy for a man to say, "Look, if you want this, then you get this," or that is this. But see, he asked her. He said he was totally fine with her saying, "Look, we got to wait for marriage before we become it." So when he said, "Okay, I need to save my money," there was a kickback by her. Well, why you want to say? Why you want to go on a date with me? This is the reason. See, because if it was fine on his part, it should have been fine on her part in saying, "Okay, well, I'll go Dutch." Because see, I understand what standards I got, and you don't know what this going to materialize into, so I don't have a problem paying. But if I got a problem paying, that's going to tell you a little bit about her too. Then, like I said, you can say, "Well, she's being a lady," but but the man is being cheap. You can go use all of those terminology, but by the same token, I understand the premise of the whole thing. It is kind of awkward. And the third chat said a woman would respect him just like she expects him to respect what she wants. I can't read it good because it's so small down there.
I see it. A woman will respect him just like she expects him to respect what she wants. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was preferencing. A good woman, a woman that's for him is going to say, "Okay, fine, I'll pay for my, pay my way. You pay for yours."
But she didn't. But that woman didn't.
But see,
that woman didn't do that.
She didn't. So being that we have a podcast and we discuss things, our podcast is to bring value to people. So the advice I gave to women, like, don't be out here doing, that's crazy. And what I said to men, you're setting up these dates. Okay, don't take them out. The podcast is to add value. I get what's going on out here with the modern women and people just using people for food. But for me, yes, on a podcast, I'm not just here to discuss what they're doing. I want to give advice. If she's not for you, if she just clearly said, "Oh, I think you're doing that because I don't want to have sex." Okay, so then that's probably not the chick for you.
You can't give advice to people who are living this every day, and that's not going to change because you shouldn't have. Our podcast ain't to tell people what to do. Our podcast is to advise people on what's going on. And this is society today. So it's an open discussion because the person is saying, "I'm dating today, and this is what's going on today." Yeah, men are having to pay a larger amount of money on dates. That's going to happen because men do that to show the woman that he's able to protect her or to provide for her. These are things that you used to do for that reason. And you would take a woman out on an expensive date because the woman would value that date. But when the woman is setting tones, and then when he said, "I'm fine with you setting that tone. I'm fine with the no intimacy before marriage." Well, you should give me the same respect and say, "Well, I'm fine with going Dutch on this date." If that's what he wants. See, she stated what she wanted. He stated what he wanted. That's what's happening today. You can't give advice to this and tell these people how to do this because they're not going to listen to you on this one because this is how this works.
I was just spitting out my own. I'm not a person that does this, so I'm shocked that this is a thing that's constantly going on. And like I preferenced before, like if she's not agreeing to go with him on that whole she's going to go Dutch thing, then okay. You're respecting that she wants to wait till marriage for intimacy. She doesn't want to wait for you to pay for, she wants you to pay for a meal. So it doesn't sound like you guys sounds like you're clashing. So maybe there is a woman out there who doesn't mind paying for her way on a date. So that's what I'm saying.
I can understand. She's might still be just trying to be a lady, but not understanding the premise of today is that you're spending larger amounts of money. And really and truly, you ain't going out here spending no large amount of money on something that's not guaranteed. I understand that. I understand the premise. So like I said, maybe it's a miscommunication between the two of them, but by the same standards, you have to understand the premise of the whole thing. And one person is saying this and he said he was fine. And when he said, well, okay, well, I'm saving my money for marriage, that's when she didn't say it was fine. She said, why are we going on a date? Well, if you don't set your tone, then you should understand this is how that works. I'm going to pay for my meal because I shouldn't have to pay my money to get to know you. Okay? That's what that's all about. I'm paying money out to get to know you, and you're telling me, well, there's no guarantee that this is going to, anything going to happen. So, okay, with that mindset, okay, this is what we get. But we need to wrap this up here because we're running into an hour here. But it's a very interesting take for the people that join us late. The guy wanted to go out on a date, and the female said that she was waiting to be intimate with him to marriage, and he said, "Well, I want to save my money to marriage." Which, I mean, it's an ongoing dilemma in our society today because these things are put up front, and so we just touched on it and had a little conversation about it. Maybe we need to touch on it again because with a bigger cast of people to see if we can maybe hammer out and come out with something different. But like I said, that interesting take on it though.
Thank you, TG, for chatting. We appreciated your input in this conversation and this discussion. Thank you.
And if you like what you've seen and you like what you hear, we need for you to subscribe. We need you to like, share, and subscribe because we're putting out good work every day, and we know you guys enjoy it. And if you really enjoy it, by all means, give them love. We really enjoy doing this. But yeah, we have to wrap this up. We hope you enjoyed this podcast.
And also remember at LUKE-N-SHAE'S place, a positive mentality is a destined reality. Your mental health is important. Wear your smile and surround yourself with positive people. And yeah, don't let people use you. That's not good either. So either way, if you're setting your standards from the gate, from the beginning, the intro of a relationship, then it should be respected. And if it's not being respected, move on. That person's not for you. But again, a positive mentality is a destined reality.
And both of you guys need to respect each other once, and that's important too. So God bless you. You guys take care the next time.